Okay, pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, this meeting notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press on December 4th, 2018, and has been duly advertised in the Asbury Park Press issue of December 6, 2018. All municipal clerks of the townships and boroughs within the regional high school district have been duly notified, and the requirements of posting of notices have been met on December 4th, 2018. If everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, moving on to the minutes approval. Does anybody want to put forth a motion to approve the meeting minutes from our meeting on November 19th? Could we please take the roll?
Mr. Astola?
Yes.
Mrs. Cappiello? Mr. Carollo?
Yes.
Mrs. Lavin?
Yes.
Mr. Moses? Mrs. Sotera?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Messer?
Yes. Mr. Boyce, was there any communications received since our last meeting that the board needs to be aware of?
Communications are distributed to the board upon receipt and kept on file at the board secretary office.
All right, then we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Mr. Sampson.
So, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. So, this is the first of our 3 student recognition ceremonies. And first and foremost, I want to thank the parents and guardians for coming out tonight to support our unbelievable students. I know that December is a crazy month with a lot of responsibilities, but we think it's really important we come together 3 times a year to honor some of the exceptionalism in this school district. And I think you'll agree once you see the students who are honored and their achievements that the accomplishments here are second to none. And truly exceptional. So we'll go through each of the 6 high schools. I would ask as much as possible that if your school is done and you're recognized, you still stick around for everyone to be recognized. It will go very quickly. It will not be that long, and I think it's awesome to have our students come up here in front of a nice audience and get the recognition they deserve. So thank you. I'm going to call Dr. Donahue from Folks Tech up.
Thank you, Mr. Moses. Okay, thank you, Mr. Sampson. Oh, for a moment there, I was going to have to use my outside voice. All right. So good evening, students, parents, and guests. I would like to welcome everyone to the Freehold Regional High School District Medal Ceremony. I'd like to first thank the administration and the Board of Education for giving us the opportunity to recognize the academic and athletic achievements of our students tonight. I'd also like to congratulate the administration, the coaches, parents, and students from our fellow schools. You should all be very proud of all that you have accomplished. First tonight from Colts Neck High School, I would like to recognize the National Merit Commended Scholars. The National Merit Scholarship Program is an academic competition for recognition and scholarship that began in 1955. High school students enter the National Merit Program by taking the preliminary SAT, National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test, otherwise known as the PSAT, which serves as an initial screen of approximately 1.6 million entrants each year. And by meeting published program entry and participation requirements, which change each year, students qualify for this award. So from Colts Neck High School, I would like to bring up Nicholas Fisher. Oh yeah, if we could just, as you come around to the left, Jared Katz, Brooke Loomer, Jessica Mina, Brian Perlstein, and James Powell.
So what we're doing is we'll ask any of the students being recognized to come down this way, grab your medal, stop in the center for a brief moment for a photo op for mom, dad, anybody else who wants to take the picture. So thank you.
Okay. Colsack High School also had 2 National Merit semifinalists, and these are the highest scoring entrants in each state. We had one student who couldn't be with us tonight, Zoya Pander, and we also had another student, Jacob Kachnian. Jacob is actually here for 2 reasons tonight. Not only was he a National Merit semifinalist, Jacob also scored a confirmed 800 on his math SAT. So congratulations to both. And I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Arneo, our SECA.
Thank you, Dr. Donahue. I'd like to thank the Board of Education, Central Administration for having us here tonight. Congratulations to all of you. You'll see many impressive feats by our student body tonight. The first thing I'm going to do is just give you an all-short, all-state description in athletics, what that means when you're all-short, all-state. So both all-short and all-state titles are meant to recognize outstanding season performances by a student athlete. The process for an all-short selection begins with an all-division selection. In Colts Neck's case, this is a B North, all B North selection. For the rest of the district, it's an all A North selection. These initial selections are done by the head coaches of a given division in that respective sport. Media outlets then use this list of all division standout athletes as the basis for an all-short selection. The final all-short selection is made by the Asbury Park Press. All state selections are made by NJ.com, also based on the body of work of the student athletes for the season. There is no required consideration given to all division athletes for this honor. So the first student I'd like to recognize could not make it, Claudia Bykowski. She was one of our best girls volleyball player to ever come through Colts Neck. She was first team all-shore. She has not yet committed to play at a college, but she's looking, so congratulations to Claudia. I would like to call down the Colts Neck High School girls cross country team at this time. And Coach Slentz. The girls cross country team won their 3rd straight Group 3 state championship. They won the Central Jersey Group 3 championship for the 2nd year in a row and won the Shore Conference B North Division title for the 3rd year in a row. On the team was Kavita Shaw, sophomore, Lucy Gardner, sophomore, Juliana Schaefer, junior, Chloe Curtis, junior, Natalie Shapiro, junior, Alexandria Martorella, senior, Colleen Megerly, senior, Katie Anderson, senior, Eva Gibson, senior, and Delia Russo, senior. I'd like to mention a few of these athletes. Natalie Shapiro was named to First Team All-Shore by the Shore Coaches Association and First Team All-State Group 3. So congratulations to Natalie. Delia Russo, a senior, named First Team All-Shore by the Asbury Park Press and the Shore Coaches Association. She was named First Team All-State, All Groups, and Shore Conference Runner of the Year. Delia will continue her career at the University of Pennsylvania in the fall. So congratulations to Delia. Eva Gibson, a senior, will be running at American University in the fall. Katie Anderson will be running with her at American University in the fall. Colleen Megerly is undecided at this time, but I believe she's going to see the University of Michigan to potentially commit there. And Alex Martorella is undecided as well. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize Coach Jim Slentz, who has been a part of Colts Neck High School cross country since its beginning in 1998. This past weekend, Coach Slentz was one of 5 coaches in the class of 2018 that was inducted into the Armory Hall of Fame in Washington Heights in New York City. Congratulations, Coach Slentz. Just a quick bit about Coach Slentz. While at Colts Neck High School, in cross country alone, Colts Neck High School has won 22 total division titles, 12 girls, 10 boys, division titles in the Shore Conference. They've won 3 Shore Conference titles for the girls. State sectional titles, the girls have won 8, the boys have won 6. And state group titles, the girls have won 6 titles and the boys 1. So congratulations to Coach Slentz and the Colts Neck High School girls cross country team. That concludes the district medals for Colts Neck High School.
Thank you, Mr. Arnett. I'd like to call up Mr. Braverman and Mr. Meehan from Howe.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Like my colleague, Dr. Donahue, I'd like to thank the Board of Education, our central office, the superintendent for allowing us to celebrate nights like this evening. I'd also like to thank all the recipients that have gotten medals or will get medals the rest of the night, and all your parents. So we have, I'm not going to repeat what a commended scholar is and what a national merit semifinalist is, as Dr. Donahue did that for us for the evening. So I'll get to the point. We have one commended national merit scholar here tonight, Mr. Alexander Lee. Alexander, if you're here, come on up. I'm going to read the names whether they're here or not. Apparently there's a track meet today, so some students aren't here, so I still will read the names. We have 2 national merit semifinalists. First, Laura Babiak and John Morgan, who I know is now here. 800 on the SATs. We have 2 that have 800 on SATs. One who I know could not be here tonight due to track, Alex Peterson, and the second is Marissa Pallas. I believe Marissa is here. You can come this way, Marissa. It's fine. You're good. You don't have to go through the rows. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Meehan, our supervisor of extracurricular activities, to give out some chorus awards and a bowling award.
Thank you, Mr. Braverman. Congratulations to all students here in being so exceptional and bringing such an honor to the Freehold Regional High School District. I'm going to call up students from our chorus. This is the Howell High School. Once again, placed first at the NJ All Short Chorus auditions. 22 students were accepted into a chorus of 115 singers. Accepted this year are Maya Ben Harouche, Brooke Dunzelli, Vicky Fleisch, Rachel DeFrida, Joe Crisanzio, Emily Huguenin, Caitlin Holm, Megan Maloney, Christina Natoli, Tommy Panzera, Isabella Paulino, Samantha Palhumis, who came in second out of all the students. She had the second highest score. Isabella Ramirez, Anthony Riello, Jacqueline Smith, Maya Santa Ana, who had the highest score out of anyone in the state, Kelly Taylor, and Maria Utz, who had the 3rd highest score out of anyone in the state who competed. Also, we had 3 students qualify for Rising Stars, which is another state competition. We had Sierra DiMaglio, Julia Lupi, and Maya Ben Harouche. And in all Eastern quarters, we had Zoe Morocco and Joe Crisanzio. Excellent job, guys. And we also added to the list, I'm very sorry, Carolyn Weber. Carolyn Weber with the New Jersey All Short Chorus auditions. Once again, our New Jersey All Shore Chorus audition, 22 students accepted into the program. Great job, guys. Congratulations. Gus Horvath here. Did Gus make it? Gus Horvath. Come on up here, Gus. Gus is going to go center stage, so we'll get a look at you, Gus. We'll get some good stuff to say. Gus just got back from a bowling match. On December 13th, Gus competed against one of our sister schools, Freehold Township High School, and on that day, he bowled a perfect game. He bowled a 300 in bowling. That's quite an amazing feat. Congratulations. Nice job. Mr. Sampson, that concludes Howell High School.
Thank you, Mr. Meehan. Usually takes me several games to get to 300. So now I'd like to call up Dr. Ross from Manalapan High School.
Glasses, that is correct. Good evening, everyone. I would first like to thank the Board of Education, Mr. Sampson, and Central Office Administration for honoring our schools and our students this evening. Dr. Angelosi had a previous scheduled family engagement this evening, and he is very disappointed that he could not be in attendance, and he wanted to attend both events. So in his absence, I would like to congratulate all of our district medal winners. I would first like to recognize the following two students for reaching the rank of Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts of America, Anthony Atkinson and Alexander Clark. These young men have mastered the required scouting skills, completed an array of merit badges, completed their Eagle Scout projects, and have passed their Eagle Scout Board of Review. They have demonstrated leadership, organizational skills, self-reliance, exemplary character, good citizenship, sound judgment, and a perseverance on the road to becoming an Eagle Scout. Here's a description of their projects. Anthony. The goal of Anthony's Eagle Scout project was to construct a 16 by 16 platform standing 1 inch high, which was built for the Kiddie Camp program at the YMCA of Western Monmouth County. The YMCA provides a summer day camp for children to enjoy during the summer. This deck allows for the camp to do a variety of things, including gathering the campers at the end of the day, hosting an award-giving ceremony towards the end of the camp week, hosting a skit or a theater in that area, on opening up activities and games that involved a raised platform. Anthony's role in this project was to lead, oversee, and assist in the construction of the deck. Not only offering a helping hand and taking part in the building, but also managing the work in the service to his community. So give him a hand. Alex Eagle Scout project was created to help raise awareness of the military working dogs who are working overseas. The project consisted of collecting products such as dog treats, dog care products, and dog toys, and shipping these items to active dogs in service with the Military Working Dog Team Support Association, MWDTSA. The project provided over $1,500 in donations, treats, goggles, and boots for our military canine troops. Let's applaud both of these young men. As we continue, we're going to ask Anthony to stay with us. And now I'm going to call the list of 14 National Merit Commended Scholar recipients. Olivia Arilla, Anthony Atkinson, Mark Bauer, Noah Bennett, Talib Ben Muawa, Brian Sharon, Christian Fitzgerald, William Kane, Siddharth Kohli, Landon LeGrand, Tarun Bilabulabil, Sharish Salvaraj, Shariah Tawari, and Jonathan Yoon. Let's give them a hand. Based on PSAT selection index scores out of 1.6 million entrants, in the PSAT scholarship program. These students are in a pool of approximately 34,000 students to be commended in the National Merit Scholarship Program. Additionally, 3 of these students, please step forward when I say your name, Talab, Brian, and William, earned the distinction of semi-finalists in the National Merit Scholars Program. They are among the highest scoring entrants from New Jersey and are eligible to apply to become a National Merit finalist. Congratulations to Talab, Brian, William, and all of our scholars. Thank you. Now we move on to the National Hispanic Recognition Program. Will the following students please come forward? Landon LeGrand, Noah Bennett, Elizabeth Garcia, Ryan Horvath, and Carl Kolditz. Every year, the National Hispanic Recognition Program recognizes Hispanic and or Latino students who are among the highest scoring on the PSAT National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. The College Board's National Hispanic Recognition Program is an academic honor that can be included on college applications. Colleges do use this information and the program to identify academically exceptional students. Congratulations. I'm going to ask Landon to stay. And I would like Shreyas Salvaraj and William Kane to come front. Are they in attendance? Because we did not hear from them. All right. Well, these students are being recognized as National AP Scholars. The AP Scholar Awards recognizes high school students who have demonstrated exemplary college-level achievement on AP exams. The designation of National AP is granted to students in the United States who received an average score of at least a 4 on all AP exams taken and scores of 4 or higher on 8 or more of these exams. Let's give them a round of applause. At this time, I'm going to recognize students who scored a perfect 800 in mathematics on their SAT. Will Sharice Diatali come forward? Ananya Hajra, Sharice Salvaraj, Mark Bauer, Siddharth Kohli, Brian Charon, and Kaushik Prakesh. Come on down. Thank you. I would like to now call Shreyas Rajan, Rohan Katamasu, Arya Chaudhry, and Arav Patel. Have them come down this evening. Here they come. As they're walking towards us, these gentlemen are being recognized for having the most innovative product at the ICIB's inaugural Halloween Hackathon. Hackathons or invention marathons, provide students the opportunity to engage in collaborative computer programming with an emphasis on developing modern learning skills and knowledge. These 12 to 48-hour events promote STEM education through a student-centered, technology-enabled event designed to foster innovation and creativity. The Freehold Regional High School District will be having a hackathon at Manalapan High School on January 19th and 20th, and many of these students are members of the Hack Free Student Leadership Team. Let's give them another round of applause. Now for an award that as the supervisor of fine and performing arts, the other role I have, I am especially proud to present. Will Zachary Sloan, Claudia McRae, and Lily Janot please come down to the front? These three students marched in the 92nd Annual Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. More than 1,000 students across the nation auditioned for a chance to march as part of Macy's Great American Marching Band, and 3 of Manalapan students were accepted. Lily played the piccolo, Claudia played the cymbals as part of the drum line, and Zachary played the tenor saxophone. This is the second appearance in the Great American Marching Band for Zachary and Claudia. Let's give them a big round. Finally, for me anyway, I would like to recognize Elizabeth Fuchsen, Ariana Sapazanik, and Ayushi Shah for their gold medal performance in the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America Fall Conference. These young ladies took first place in the Cupcake Challenge. And just like on television, the Cupcake Challenge is an event where students are given a secret ingredient box and they have to bake 60 cupcakes from scratch using the secret ingredients. They also have to build a display to present their cupcakes to the judges. And they won first place, so awesome job, ladies. And now I will turn the rest of the program for Manalapan over to Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Dr. Ross. Good evening, Board of Education members, Central Administration, and Mr. Sampson. It is an honor to take part in this ceremony as we honor all of our district member recipients and acknowledge their accomplishments. I am pleased to ask Alex Claro and Deshawn Taylor to please come down to the front. It doesn't look like Deshawn can make it tonight, but Deshawn Taylor has earned first team All-Shore honors for his outstanding performances on the football field. As one of the team captains, Deshawn led the charge for his team at defensive end. He was relentless in his attack and caused havoc on the opponent's offense each week. All the A North, as Mr. Arneo explained earlier, he made the All A North team, which then was voted by the coaches to the All Shore team, and he was the only one from Manalapan High School to earn first team All Shore honors. So congratulations to you. Mr. Claro, I would like to give a medal for his hair alone. Mr. Claro is the recipient of the Minnie Maxwell Award. Players are nominated by their coaches throughout the season and were evaluated based on football performance, academics, and community service. As captain of the football team, Alex led his team to the Central Jersey Group 5 semifinals as a two-way starter. But even more impressive was his ability to earn great grades in the classroom while also committing his downtime to community service. All of these earned him one of the 62 Minnie Max winners from the state of New Jersey that will be running up for the New Jersey Player of the Year at their banquet in January. Congratulations and good luck. That's it for Manalapan this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. I'd like to call Dr. Bleakley up from Marlboro.
Good evening. I too would like to thank our Board of Education and Central Administration for providing our students with the opportunities to pursue their passions and excel. And I'd also like to I'd like to congratulate all the district medal winners from all of our 6 high schools this evening and their families. For Marlboro High School, we'll start with the National Merit Commended Scholars. So I'll ask the following students to please come up to the front. Nathaniel Bolinkis, Walker Bove, Sean Chang, Kana Corley, Jacob Jasser, Paul Lee, Louis Lee, Rahul Rana, Shivangi Rohila, Bianca Tevis, Rahul Trivedi, Paula Vinacker, and Jack Werther. To be a commended scholar is truly an outstanding achievement, as was described earlier. However, I would like Paul Lee to step forward just a couple of steps, as Paul was one of the National Merit semi-finalists as well, so congratulations to Paul. Thank you. At Marlboro High School, we were very fortunate and we're very proud to have students that had a perfect score on one or more sections of the SAT as well. So I'll call up those students: Walker Bove, Nathaniel Bolinkis, Nervi Desai, and Saad Farghani. Excellent job, and congratulations. At Marlboro High School, we have a JSA delegation. Our students attended the JSA Fall State Conference this past November 17th and 18th. At the convention, students debate many political issues using parliamentary debate style. Debaters are selected prior to the convention. Actually, let me have the students come on up while I talk about them. So let me back up. Ryan Corbin, Jerry Bachschlag, Hannah Zwern, Brandon Brabham, Daniel Ross, and Casey Corley. Come on up. Get your medal and let's go. So as I was saying, at the state convention, these students, they debated. The debaters at the convention are selected prior to the convention, and the students research and prepare their arguments beforehand. At the end, students vote for a best speaker in different categories, and these students all debated and presented their positions, and all 6 students individually won best speaker winners, or best speaker honors at the state convention. And they were recognized and given gavels at the end of that convention, so congratulations, and we're very proud of you. And lastly, for Marlboro High School, I'd like to ask Farah Chernoff to come up. Farah is a gymnast at Marlboro High School. Farah won numerous accolades at the Shore and State tournaments this season. At the Shore Conference tournament, Farah was the floor exercise champion. At the state sectional tournament, Farah was the vault, balance beam, and all-around champion. At the all-state tournament, Farah won the 5th place medal on vault, 7th place medal all around, 8th place medal on floor exercise, and 12th place medal on balance beam. Farah also broke the school record on vault, scoring a 9.875 at the Shore Conference tournament. and led her team in breaking the school record for a high score with a 111.85. Farah was selected to the Coaches Association All-State Team for Vault, Star Ledger First Team All-State, and Asbury Park Press First Team All-Shore. Farah, as a junior, has already committed to continue her gymnastics career at Westchester University. Congratulations, Farah, on an outstanding season. We look forward to what you'll do in your senior year. And that concludes the awards from Marlborough High School.
Thank you, Dr. Brinkley. I'd like to call Mr. Jewell, Freehold High School.
Good evening, everyone. I was sitting here listening to the last students called up, and I thought, I wonder how many collective hours have gone into this public recognition. I can't even imagine. And that would be true for everyone who's here tonight receiving some type of a medal. And congratulations to the parents who supported your son and daughter in whatever was their passion. Because here it is tonight. So to all of you, I tip my hat. Okay, you've heard the background for National Merit, as well as National Merit semifinalists. We were in direct competition tonight, no pun intended, with track meet, and that's where a lot of the borough students are. But I am going to read their name because they deserve to have their name read aloud. So for the commended scholars, Suneo Anjakala, Max Breslauer Friedman, Stephen G., Noah Lee, Jason Liang, Connor Lum, Neil Mahonapa, Casey Ostick, Linnell Oiglenvik, Mahak Patel, Maya Patel, Milan Patel, Jalazna Suni, Erica Tan, Surunadesh, Gunda, and Mitchell Malikov. And if I could have Sarujanesh and Mitchell step forward. These two young men are National Merit semifinalists. Thank you. Good job. The borough also has an Eagle Scout. I'd like Adam Goldstein to come up, please. Adam, I love that you wore your sash. We got to chat a little this morning. Adam had a unique project. The Hebrew school of his synagogue was, the little ones were shut out of this space where they were able to put all of their belongings during Hebrew school time. So Adam built 4 rolling carts with little cubby holes that could be moved in and out of a certain area so that the little ones during Hebrew school would have a spot to put their belongings. And he did it pretty much all on his own. And I said, the amount of woodworking skills that has to go into a project like that, again, good job, practical. And now I'm going to ask Mr. Longo.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. First, congratulations to all the medal recipients. You're all being honored for some outstanding achievements in athletics, academics, and activities, and you should all be very proud. Thank you to the Board of Education and our superintendent for providing these opportunities for our students. First thing I'd like to do is call down Matt Krause. Matt, come on down. Matt was Well, we'd like to honor Matt for being first team All-Shore athlete in football. We only had one athlete make All-Shore this fall, and Matt was it. In fact, actually, this is Matt's second year in a row being voted All-Shore as well as All-Division. Just a little bit about Matt. Matt is a 4-year varsity letter winner. He started every single game as a freshman, which most of you know is not very easy to do. Matt is a 2-year captain. This past year, he led our team in passing, rushing, and receiving, totaling 2,007 yards from scrimmage while accounting for 15 total touchdowns. On defense, Matt also led our team in tackles and interceptions. Matt is a very fiery leader on and off the field. He's the type of player that you really want on your team and the kind of guy that you want on your side when you're going into battle. He's definitely not afraid to do the dirty work to get a win and get the job done, and he also wants to win more than anything in the world. Matt is currently mulling over several different opportunities to attend college and play football and further his academic career. The next award I'd like to call down Freehold High School's recipient of the Mini Max Award. Come on down, Jake Hurler. So Mr. Taylor from Manalapan told everyone what the Mini Max Award was all about. Jake, as Mr. Taylor said, is one of only 62 high school football players in the state of New Jersey to receive the Mini Maxwell Award. Not only is Jake an outstanding football player, he's an outstanding young man as well. Jake made first team All-Division, second team All-Shore as a kicker. He was also named second team All-Group 4. We happen to think he's the best kicker in the state, and some people actually agree with us. Jake has, in his career, amassed 174 points, and he as well is entertaining several different offers to continue not only his kicking career, his academic career, and the hashtag, I think his father might have started, and I'm not sure, but it's a hashtag, kickers are people too. Jake? And last but certainly not least, I'd like to call down Lucas Bruckman. Lucas is being honored tonight as a senior captain from our soccer and basketball teams. He was awarded the John Cobb Senior Excellence Award by the Shore Soccer Officials Association. Lucas was selected over 9 other nominees. The Senior Excellence Award considers some of the following criteria: cumulative GPA, class rank, years played on varsity team, leadership, academic achievement, as well as a few other categories. The winner must also be an athlete of integrity and one that plays the game with sportsmanship and character. Lucas fits all of this and more. I'll give you some of Lucas's statistics. Lucas's cumulative GPA rose each year while at Freehold Borough High School in an impressive cumulative GPA of 5.21. Lucas is ranked number 5 in his class, and he has never earned a grade lower than something in the A range. He was Freehold High School's representative at the Hobie Leadership Seminar, as well as being our Science Day representative as a freshman. Lucas was also the recipient of the prestigious Rensselaer Medal. Lucas has his sights set on schools such as Duke, Ohio State, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, and Villanova, just to name a few. He's just an all-around great kid, and I said it once before at the banquet when I was asked to speak about him, and Lucas is the type of kid that you want your own kids one day to grow up and emulate. Lucas, good job. That's it for Freehold High School. On behalf of Freehold High School, I'd just like to congratulate everyone and have a safe and happy holiday season.
Thank you, Mr. Longman. Now call next to JP. Mr. Rashadi.
Again, good evening, and I also would like to congratulate all the students who are in attendance tonight and who are being recognized for their outstanding achievements, for their parents, for I know all the time and the guardians that you put in, and also for the board and Mr. Sampson for giving us this evening. At this time, I'm kind of losing my voice a little bit, so I'm going to let Mr. Presati present.
Thank you, Ms. Sigley. Thank you, Board of Education, Central Administration, Mr. Sampson, again for giving us this opportunity, and congratulations to you all out there. And thank you to all of you that have already received your medal and are sticking it through until the end to listen to Freehold Township close it out here. I'm going to call 2 students to start that received perfect scores on their math SAT. So if Evan and Andrew are in the audience, please make your way down at this time. We have Evan Nasarovich and Andrew Quinlan. Both of these young men are seniors at Freehold Township High School and received perfect scores on their math SAT. Congratulations to both of you. As Dr. Ross noted earlier, there's a lot that goes into becoming an Eagle Scout, and Freehold Township High School is proud to honor 2 of our own as Eagle Scouts. So I'm going to ask Chris and Cody to come on up at this time. So gentlemen, as I speak, just kind of step forward so the audience knows who I am talking about. Cody Brook. Cody Brook is closest to me at this point. Cody is a senior here at Freehold Township High School. He has been a scout since the 4th grade and has gained a lot of experience and lessons from mentors and friends, including his dad. For his service project to earn his Eagle Scout rank, Cody renovated the lounge room at the Chariot Riders Horse Facility in Manchester. This is a non-profit group that works with veterans and those with special needs. In renovating the lounge, Cody gutted the room, repaired and replaced the walls, spackled, painted, and installed 2 8-foot counters under viewing windows. Thank you, Cody, for your service. Congratulations. Our other Eagle Scout is Chris Negri. Chris is a senior at Freehold Township High School as well. Chris's path to the Eagle rank has been relatively quick as he joined the Scouts in July of 2014, influenced to do so by a friend. He currently has 26 merit awards and a brass palm. Chris's Eagle Scout project was installing a paver patio at the West Farms United Methodist Church in Howard. He also landscaped the surrounding area and refurbished and installed a bench and ramp. To subsidize this project, Chris ran a chocolate bar fundraiser as well as a fundraiser event at the Howell Cheeseburger. Chris continues to enjoy scouting and the experiences he has with his fellow scouts and troop leaders. Congratulations, Chris. All right. Will our all-shore mixed chorus honorees please make their way to the front at this time? So Freehold Township High School has 9 students that earned all-shore mixed chorus honors this year. These students go through a rigorous audition process, and in being named to all-shore mixed chorus, they have the opportunity to perform at a performance in Atlantic City with the rest of the all-shore choir. Our honorees as they come across are Riley Martin, Faiza Nasir, Amy Alfuso, Rebecca Bloodgus, Sophia Friedenberg, Vanessa Gorman, Caleb Zettel, Kelly Larkin, and Natalie Moradian. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. I would also like to bring up 3 members of our band who earned all region honors with the band and percussion ensemble. So if you are in attendance, make your way to the front at this time. Much like the students who earned all-shore mixed chorus honors, our all-region band and percussion honorees had to go through a rigorous audition process as well. As my band director likes to note when he alerts us as to who made all region encompasses more than just all shore of Monmouth and Ocean counties and encompasses additional counties including Middlesex. So this is a larger part of the state that is being honored, and so this is a very prestigious recognition for these 3 youngsters. We have Simon Clark, who is on the symphonic band playing the horn. Jessica Hackinson, who is on the symphonic band playing the flute, and Andrew Solaru, who is on the symphonic band. He is the principal bassoon, which I believe means he was the top scoring bassoon for the symphonic band. So congratulations to the 3 of you. All right, we're going to switch gears to a few of our athletic honorees. So will Jess Judge and Nick Lundberg make their way to the front if they are in attendance? I don't know that I saw either of them. All right, so I will talk very quickly. We had 3 first team All-Shore honorees, none of which could be here. Colin Taptich was a first team All-Shore kicker. So hearing Mr. Longo speak about their kicker, I think it's really impressive that the 2 best kickers, we could say, both live in the same town in the entire state, so that's pretty impressive. Jessica Judge is a senior defender on our 8 North champion girls soccer team, and she was first team All 8 North and first team All Division for girls soccer. And then Nick Lundberg, who just decided he's going to continue his cross-country career at Fordham University, won the 8 North race by quite a large margin and was named first team All-State in addition to first team All-Shore for the cross-country season. So congratulations to those 3. All right, if you thought that was a lot. Gymnasts, make your way up to the front. All right. So, I'm going to do my best to get all of this in. Our gymnastics team, I'll start at the top. They are the #1 ranked gymnastics team in the state of New Jersey for the 2nd consecutive year this year. They earned that rank by going undefeated in the regular season. They haven't lost a regular season dual meet in 2 years. They earned that rank by winning the overall state championship meet for New Jersey for the 2nd year in a row. They were named New Jersey Team of the Year in doing so. They are led by our coaches, Ashley Montgomery, the head coach, who was named NJ.com's Coach of the Year and earned NJSIAA's Gymnastics Award this year, and our assistant coach, Ms. Carly Sabacco. In addition to that, our girls this year added to what they did last year. So everything I already named are things that they repeated over the last 2 years. They also won the Central Jersey Section 1 championship, so the section and the overall state. And they finished 2nd at the Shore Conference Championships, just slightly behind St. John Vianney. So again, the only time we haven't won a meet this year or last year is when we finished 2nd to a private institution. So pretty impressive for a public school to do that for 2 consecutive years. Our gymnasts are Kayla Amin, Janelle Cloud, Isabel Fromm, Anna Pagliaro, Jamie Collinette, Julia Rogers, Isabel Abreu, Gianna Spinelli, Sarah Triolo, and our 4 senior captains, Madison Duran, Danielle Gubatosa, Megan Murphy, and Alexis Rogers. And Alexis, I'll speak on a little bit more in a moment. All right. Yes, you can step forward, Alexis, that's fine. And I'll just note to Mr. Sampson and Dr. Sharp and Mrs. Higley, I don't know if they get multiple medals for all the things I'm about to say, but there might not be enough hands over there. So in addition to all the team honors, some individual honors. So Alexis is already stepping forward. I'm going to ask Anna Pagliaro to step forward as well. These 2 young ladies earned first team All-Shore honors and first team All-State honors, both of them. Anna was the short conference champion on the balance beam and the sectional champion on the uneven bars. Alexis capped her outstanding career here at Freehold Township High School by adding to those accomplishments, and she was the short conference champion on the uneven bars. She will be continuing her academic and athletic careers at Rutgers University next fall. Congratulations, girls. And since when you have a microphone in your hand, you can make proclamations such as this. Next year's board meeting is probably going to be December 16th, 2019. Let's say we do this again, because you're probably going to repeat that, I would say. I'm pretty confident. Thank you all for coming. Mr. Sampson, over to you.
Thank you, and thank you to the parents and guardians for coming out this evening. We wish you all a wonderful holiday season. We're going to take a 2-minute recess for those that don't want to hang out for the rest of the meeting, you're certainly welcome to stay. But all the best to you for a wonderful holiday season. Thank you for coming out and supporting your children tonight. All right, so I'm just going to continue with a few items from my report, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Boyce for the audit presentation this evening. Just a few updates for the public. So we've talked over the past several months about the new School Funding Reform Act, SFRA, S2, and what that looks like for the Freehold Regional High School District in terms of the impact to our state aid, as well as the impact to a number of districts in this specific area, actually. But I just want to make sure that the public is fully aware. We will be moving forward under a number of avenues over the next couple of months. So the Freehold Regional High School District has joined the lawsuit against the state, and there are approximately 9 or 10 districts at this point in time that have filed that lawsuit jointly. We're working together on that avenue, on the legal avenue, in terms of the interpretation of the formula to calculate state aid. We have also joined on, and I'm a member of the legislative committee of a new group that has formed, known as Support Our Students. It's a group of 62 different districts across the state, representing about 120,000 students. All of whom are facing varying degrees of sharp state aid reduction. And I'll just read one of the statements that we put out, because I think it captures some of the issues with how the formula is determined in all of this, first and foremost. But reading directly from our press release that was sent out about a week and a half ago now. First, the property wealth figures used to calculate local fair share should include the many billions of dollars on an equalized basement in payment in lieu of taxes, known as pilot programs, which is not currently due in the state. Second, the property wealth figures in the formula cannot be relied upon until the equalized valuations are updated for the 25 plus towns in New Jersey that have not had legally required property revaluations in over 25 years. Third, the accuracy of the local fair share numbers cannot be validated until the allocation and adjustment methodology of the property and income multiplier calculations for the distribution of $6.3 billion in equalization aid is revealed and provided for all New Jersey school districts. At this point in time, those calculations have not been shared. We have Oprah'd those calculations, and we are still waiting on those from the state. It should be noted that all of these factors, especially as they apply to many districts that currently receive a significant amount of state aid, would affect the local fair share calculations on a statewide basis and would therefore impact the equalization aid allocations for all New Jersey school districts. We also strongly believe that before any district loses additional aid, the factors and numbers used to calculate a district's adequacy budget should be fully reviewed and updated in determining how much equalization aid a district should be entitled to. What this looks like for the Freehold Regional High School District over the next 7 years is a reduction of $25 million. That represents 20% of our faculty and staff as it exists today. We have a total budget of $200 million. We educate our children on average, due to the economy of scale that we see on a regionalized basis, for $3,000 less than the state average across the state. Our class sizes in our core courses are currently creeping up in terms of 26, 28, in some cases 30. A $25 million reduction over 7 years will be devastating to this school district. It will impact our student programs. It will impact our ability to transport our students. It will impact our ability to adequately staff the regional school district and provide the education that our community has become accustomed to. We are going to fight this reduction on every avenue, because we have said ad nauseum that we believe the multipliers through which the state determines a district's ability to pay are inherently flawed. There are a number of local legislators that have put forth legislation that might alter that course in some way. Mr. Boyce has done an excellent job of managing the finances to put us in a position to stave off cuts for about a year and a half. From that point forward, when we reach the budget, not this year, but the subsequent year, and we get to the end of that, we'll be facing a $5 million cut, period, that year. We will then be facing pretty much the additional $5 million cut the following year, all the way up to $25 million over a 7-year period. It is relentless. It is not just one fell swoop. It is death by 1,000 cuts over a 7-year period. We are taking every action that we possibly can. This board has been proactive. The administration has been proactive. We will pursue legal means. We will pursue legislative means. We will advocate. But I don't know if our community will be incensed enough until the cuts come to their door, until a student isn't being picked up in the neighborhood, until a sports team isn't running any longer, until a program that we've offered for years is no longer offered, until our class sizes are 35 and 36 and 37 deep. I think that will get the public's attention to begin knocking on the door of some of the state legislators to get us off of this path, because I don't believe in my heart of hearts that the intent with S2 was to devastate some districts at the expense of others. And I don't know that we've ever been forced to make choices that some children will get and others will not in terms of what the aid looks like. I don't want to get into the politics of all of that, because some of that looks ugly to me as well. But at the end of the day, there are children and the programs that we offer, and this district, next to one other district in the state, is receiving the largest single reduction of any school district in the state. And I'll turn it over to Mr. Boyce for the audit presentation this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Sampson. Board, as you know, each year the district is required to undergo an audit of its financial records. We have with us tonight AJ Sabine, who's with Suppley Clooney and Company. I'm going to ask AJ to grab that microphone and present those findings to you. Before I do, I just wanted to thank Trish Smith and Deb Clark and all the members of the finance department. Mrs. Smith runs point on this. It's complicated. We're fortunate to have her, and I think the report that you're going to hear speaks to the type of work that she does. Mr. Sabine, I'll turn it over to you to discuss the audit report.
Good evening. I'd also like to thank Sean and Trish. You're one of the only districts in the state and in our clientele that prepares their own CAFRA. So we literally come in and do an audit instead of putting all the numbers together and then performing the audit. So I'd like to thank them. We have completed the audit of 2018, but we're waiting for some numbers from the state. There's a new standard that came out, GASB 75, where we have to add footnote disclosures and add a revenue and expense to your report. And unfortunately, the state's not going to have those numbers until probably January or February, at which time I believe the latest is we're getting 4 weeks after that is when we can issue the actual audit. But at this point in time, I'm happy to report we have an unqualified opinion, which is the best opinion you can get. And there's also no findings in your in the audit report or in the AMR. If there's any questions, happy to take them.
Board, do you have any questions for Mr.? The Finance Committee did meet with the auditors in the last couple of weeks, and you may hear about that in the board reports, and they had a comprehensive conversation about the audit report at that time. Okay, Mr. Speen, seeing none, thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Mr. Sampson? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Bruno?
I have one question on the equalization aid. On the equalization aid, does that bring back all that 25 million?
I'm sorry.
That's over a period of years.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bruno. The equalization aid is, the $25 million it's an equalization aid reduction. It's an adjustment aid reduction, which is a component of equalization aid, yes.
So the fair share, is that going to bring the money back?
So just a real recap of how it works. There's a determination made by the state per a funding formula of quantifying student needs. And it's very unique to each district based on their demographic profile. Equalization aid, which is by far the largest component of state aid, is then distributed based on a community's ability to pay. So to the extent a community is able to pay, and that's the local fair share calculation they do, and then the balance of it is equalization aid. So that's where the focus of the current shift in funding is anchored right now. Okay.
Well, that's it. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we will talk about board reports. Is there anything from policy? Okay.
There's just the second read of the policies from the previous board meeting. The policy committee meeting did not meet prior to this meeting.
Okay, and it was just explained at our finance committee meeting, we heard the auditor's report, so that pretty much covered it. Right, Mr. Moses?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so just let me go over what transpired at the curriculum meeting, which we had on December 4th at Manalapan High School. There were several agenda items I wanted to update everybody on. The first one was a discussion about the magnet programs. The application deadline was back on November 12th, and on December 1st, we had about 700 students taking the entrance exam. That's not including FPAC. FPAC auditions are going to happen after the turn of the new year. And with respect to security on the exams, we talked about how it's always been taken seriously. The administrators went over how all the materials are counted several times. There's also been a real emphasis publicly to the students with respect to using smartphones and smart watches. And also there was a brand new entrance exam used this year. So acceptances for the programs are going to go out in the second week of February. Next topic we talked about was building capacity for Career Pathways Grant. We're in the third out of 5 years with respect to the grant. Web design pathway is going strong, as is the health professions pathway. And Mr. Diaz was at the meeting and he went over some really specific changes made in the health professions pathway. And we heard about how the administration at Freehold Borough took examples of a classroom layout from Monmouth University and Elizabeth High School, and hopefully we'll implement them or are using them at our high school. So really we're taking what was learned and starting a new cohort in Freehold Township in addition to the borough, and that will be for health professions. Moving on to the IB program, we learned about how Howell High received their IB authorization. So obviously Howell's now joining this school as one of 17 schools in the state to become an IB World School. We found out that there were several dozen students interested in IB right now, and how the promotional campaign recruiting is going to transpire. I think after the magnet program decisions go out, we're then going to follow up and see how many of those students are still interested in coming either here or Howell for IB if they're not going to go to one of the magnet programs. And then the last two topics, one was about math. All the supervisors did a program review, and we talked about how over the next 2 years there might be some changes to math curriculum, whereby freshmen may start to take geometry first and then go with Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 back to back. But this is something that will, impact kids in the class of 2024, kids who are entering the high school in 2021, if that turns out to come to fruition. And we also heard about new curriculum writing in math And also, what was interesting is we heard about how a lot of four-year colleges require Algebra 2 to apply, and we really feel it will help students when they apply to college if they end up taking Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 back-to-back. And then lastly, as we all know, over the last several years, the state of New Jersey always seems to be changing what the standardized test requirements are for graduation. Everything for right now is still status quo, but we did hear about, we got a matrix as to what all the different requirements are for all 4 years of our students currently. And that is what transpired at the policy meeting. Any questions? All right, next up is public participation. Anybody want to speak? Please come up. And all, if you could, is there a microphone up there? If you could just say your name and where you're from into the microphone.
Good evening. My name is Jackie Davis-Hepton. I'm a Howell resident. I have 2 children who are in the Howell High School. My daughter is a junior, and she's part of the humanities program, and my son is a freshman this year. I come here tonight to speak to you about the district policy regarding all band students requiring to participate in the marching band program and the impact to our students. Is this an appropriate time to talk about that?
Oh, it's an appropriate time. You're a member of the public, you're a taxpayer. It's anytime it's appropriate anytime. The only thing is we can't hear you. You need to speak closer into the microphone.
Normally I'm extremely loud and everybody can normally hear me. Is that better? Yeah. All right, awesome. I'm Jackie Davis-Hepton, Howell, 2 students. I'm here to talk about the requirement the district has for band students to participate in the marching band program. So I'm not really sure if the board is aware of the time commitment that is required for marching band. Marching band starts in August. The first couple of weeks generally you have 1 rehearsal for 2 hours, and that's where the students are learning the music. And the last 2 weeks of August are spent in what we call band camp, and that is 5 days a week. And the students are participating for about 4 hours, and that's where they learn their marching routine. During the football season, doesn't stop there in August, they have the football season, and that runs at least 9 weeks. It seems everybody makes the playoffs for some reason. And during the football season, the students are they're rehearsing twice a week for 2 hours. Howell does it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then they do say that practice makes perfect. And at Howell, that is true, and I'm sure every other high school. 2 hours before every football game, you will find just about every marching band practicing in their parking lot. They generally arrive before the football players. And since Howell is a competing marching band, we don't just do football games, we also go to competitions, and those generally take anywhere between 4 to 6 hours at the minimum. At all told, Howell Marching Rebels participate in 130 hours of rehearsal time. Now, my point here tonight is not to complain about the time requirement. I personally am a very proud marching patriot, class of '83. And you'll see some of my friends out in the corridor. Joni Saltesiak and Griffin are out there. And my daughter, who's not even in band because she participates in humanities, but she does participate in marching band, is a very proud marching rebel, class of 2020. My point really is to let the board know of the time requirement and the fact that marching band is, unfortunately, marching band is a requirement of the band class. What brought me here tonight was my son. He's my youngest. He signed up for band, and due to various commitments, bowling, Gus Horvath is one of his teammates who was here tonight. Bowling takes up a lot of my son's time. So he signed up for band, and I was stunned to learn during the second week of band camp from my daughter that Mr. Lamaldi who is the marching band director for Howell, had expected my son to participate in marching band. At that time, I said, okay, let me meet with Mr. Lamaldi and meet with also the assistant principal, Mr. Chern, and ask them I was not aware of the marching band requirement. What did we need to do? And what I was informed was marching band is a requirement for every band student in this district. As you can see from the hours that the marching rebels put in, they put in 130 hours during the marching season, which is 3 months, all told. There is very little time for extracurricular activity. For those students who have a competing interest, like bowling or soccer, they cannot do it. They must make a choice. I was really saddened, as was my son, to learn that he could not participate in band because at Middle School North, under the guidance of Miss A, he blossomed and loved to play the clarinet. But we realized that was not going to work at Howell High School, and that he would not be able to play with his sister on the concert stage. So the first week of school was really a crazy and hectic time, especially with the lunch. If you guys recall, a lot of lunch stuff going on. And I also had to find another elective for him because band was not going to be his elective. Kudos and a shout out to Mrs. Stevenson. I don't know if Mr. Rotterman's here, but she did a great job in getting another elective for him. When my son learned that he was not going to be able to participate, he was extremely sad. He couldn't understand why this was. And to be honest, I wondered how many other students gave up their instrument because marching band was a requirement. So I'm going to ask, why do we require marching band in the first place? The band director at Howell suggested that if there wasn't a requirement, that there wouldn't be a marching band. And I got to be honest, I totally disagree. While marching band for Howell may have less students, I believe students would still want to participate in marching band like my daughter. I can think of 2 schools in our area, Allentown and Old Bridge, which do not require marching band as a band component. They both have stellar marching bands who compete and place within the top 3 in most competitions. If the only reason that we're requiring marching band is to ensure the survival of an extracurricular activity, we should probably evaluate our priorities, both as parents and administrators. I'm going to be clear here. I don't believe there is any other class that requires participation in an extracurricular activity. And there is no other class that requires the time commitment like a marching band. If you think about it, there are 180 school days in a year. A Howell marching rebel is practicing for 130 hours in school. Doesn't include what they're doing at home. That's about 45 minutes every school day. So I'm coming here to ask you one of 2 options. I personally would prefer to see marching band not be a requirement. We might see a decrease in the number of students, but I don't believe it would be significant enough to close any program. Just look at Cold Snack. They have a new band director this year, and they have 34 motivated and dedicated band members. And they prove size does not matter, and it's not everything. I would also argue that while we may see a decrease in marching band, we will probably see an increase in our band class size. Continuing to play an instrument should be encouraged by the school district. But I know every year, if you were to go out to every single band director, they will tell you what they expect to receive from the middle schools is not what they get every year. I have to wonder if it's because of the marching band. And lastly, we also know all of the studies that talk about the correlation, the positive correlation between playing an instrument and student success. This option, by not requiring marching band, keeps our students playing their instrument. But if you go back and you continue to make marching band a requirement, if you think that's the best option, then I think the district needs to do the right thing. And you need to make band an honors class. I'm going to reiterate, I don't believe that there is any other AP or honors class that requires the time commitment that marching band does. The district should recognize and reward those students by making band honors. You have it in your power to have a positive impact within our district, and I appreciate that. But I feel the marching band requirement is an unfair bias towards our band students. And I don't believe we should sit idly by and allow the status quo to continue. Now that you've all been made aware of the time commitment and effort that our marching members have, I ask you to do something. Please don't sit on your hands, and please take action. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Sampson, you have a good memory, and I'm trying to remember, but I can't. Sometime in the last 7 years, I could remember this same exact issue being brought up, and I think it was in Marlboro High School. I can't remember if it was handled outside these meetings or at this meeting, so if you could address it, because this is not the first
No,
time that
I think the issue came up in 2011, which was my first year, if I recall.
So 7 years ago.
Yeah, the short answer is we don't require any program to keep numbers up, so I'll dispute that immediately. The longer answer is we'll certainly take a look at it. We offer a ton of programs for students, and often they conflict in one way or another, and often students are forced to make choices because of the time commitments that are associated with each of the programs or the sports or the clubs or the activities that they might be a part of. I'll look at it with my curriculum folks, and I have to go back and talk to the principals and see what's happening in each of the buildings, and we'll take a look at that. But I do know that we visited that in 2011. It was brought up at a board meeting, and we certainly looked at it at that point in time. And in 7 years, I haven't heard boo, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing necessarily. Just folks haven't said it wasn't working.
I think most parents are probably not coming to a board meeting. I mean, I work in Newark. I didn't get home until 6:30. Washed up, got changed, and I came here because I had an agenda.
Yeah.
I wanted you guys to be aware because I'm not sure you guys know how much time goes into marching band. And again, my daughter does it lovingly. She lives and breathes marching band. My son would have liked to have marched, but unfortunately he had different priorities. Therefore, he had to give up his instrument. And I just don't think that's fair. I think we need to reevaluate. And there could have been some accommodations, but nothing to the effect of, well, you don't have to be here on a Friday night during the football game.
Yeah, understood. I'll look. I have to look at it. I'm gonna have to go back.
And that's all I ask. I ask the board to take a look at it and consider, should it be a requirement?
Yeah.
So.
We'll take it.
Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. Great night.
Hi, I do feel what you've been going through because I brought it up in 1993, and I had a daughter in 9th grade in the band, plus wanted to play field hockey, and it was like, oh boy, it was from 7, whatever, start of school to late at night because she had practice and then band practice at night and the whole thing during the week. And it was difficult, and she had to make a decision after 2 years because you're not able to do it because it does take a lot of time up. And I am aware that, like I said, since 1993. So I'm sure our superintendent will look into it. Thank you.
Okay, before proceeding with the agenda, I just wanted to ask Mr. Toscano if he wanted to make some additions to the agenda with respect to executive session.
Only two, Mr. President. With respect to number 7, in addition to the items listed on the agenda, the board also did discuss Title IX, potential Title IX issues, and also discuss the state aid reduction litigation that Mr. Sampson referenced a little while ago. And the board did not discuss in box number 8 the personnel matter that is listed on the agenda.
Mr. Boyce.
Board just one verbal change, G8, changes status. Lauren Frazier, long-term sub. The effective date should be January 31, 2019. So if you could make that change.
All right, we'll move forward. G1 through K3. Does anybody want to put forth a motion to adopt these items?
Motion.
Janet, your second. Is there a second?
Mr. Bruno. Okay, roll please.
Mr. Acetola?
Yes.
Mrs. Cappiello?
Yes on everything except H4 bills list that has my name attached to it. I abstain.
Mrs. Cappiello, that was H4 as to the bill list as pertained to you. Okay.
Mr. Corolla?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Mrs. Lavin?
Yes.
Mr. Moses?
Yes.
Mrs. Sutera?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
And Mr. Messer?
Yes. Anybody have any old business? All right, new business.
I have a new business. Is Ms. McDonald here? Carrie, can you stand up? So Carrie McDonald, the board knows that we have been looking for an administrative supervisor for special services for over 6 months now. We really took our time in the process, and when we didn't find the right candidate, we went without, and so Carrie came in. She has terrific K-8 experience as a director, a chief cook, bottle washer, did a little bit of everything in the K-8, which we think is going to be very beneficial to us, and is currently an administrator in an alternative school for students who are on the ED spectrum, and we think she will be a wonderful addition to the team here at Frio Regional High School District. So Carrie, would like to just welcome you as the administrative supervisor for special services.
Since we're in Freehold Township High School and people had to maybe travel an extra distance to get here, I don't want people to get shut out of public participation, so we're going to have a second round of public participation. So please come up, just state your name and where you're from.
Hey guys, I'm Eric Stein, Manalapan. Manalapan Youth Lacrosse Club I'm representing right now. You guys obviously saw all the emails. Michael, you and I got a chance to speak a little earlier today. I want to revisit this. I want to talk about what is stopping Manalapan High School from having a boys lacrosse program. You guys, I'm assuming everyone gets my emails that are on the board and saw the back and forth this Saturday. The question is, what do we have to do to make this thing happen? We've sort of given you solutions, made suggestions, heard from you. Can we revisit this and have this discussion?
So, Mr. Stein, I'm not going to get into a back and forth at a board meeting, but what I will say is I want to do a couple things. First, I want to clarify, the email that I was on the chain of, had some misinformation in it. First off, there's no girls wrestling team at Manalapan High School, so a new program has not been added while the lacrosse issue has been out there. So I just want to make sure that that's understood first and foremost. The position we're in right now is the answer is going to be one of two things. It's going to be no, or it's going to be potentially 100% funded by parents in a pay-for-play thing. Those are the two avenues we can go down. I don't know if you were here in the beginning of the meeting. We're being reduced $25 million, so over the next 7 years, and so we've had that since your last conversation with Mr. Boyce. That news came down the pipe, we anticipated a reduction. We didn't anticipate $25 million over 7 years. We're working to get off of that path, but right now that's the reality. That represents upwards of 20% of our faculty and staff, transportation. That represents existing programs going bye-bye, for sure. So it's irresponsible to add a new athletic program in the midst of that. The only potential that is there, because I want to be honest, because I don't want to give you misinformation, and I don't want the folks in the community to hear it one way, and I understand, because I come from a lacrosse family. It's my favorite sport. I'll put that out there. But the financial realities are the financial realities. We can certainly take a look at, and that's no promise in and of itself, some sort of pay-for-play circumstance with lacrosse. Other than that, it will not happen in the next several years.
Totally understood, and we've spoken about that before, and the pay-for-play option is on the table. Obviously, we've spoken to the parents would be supportive, the club would be supportive. We would do things within the community to raise money to be able to have that high school program. The idea, though, is when you read the article about Friday night's wrestling match, it looks like it's more of an encouragement. If that's the wrong article and it was a bad message they sent, then shame on the editors. But that being said, when you read that article, it looks like there's a brand new girls program. And the idea was there's 11 new girls that are there and you're trying to encourage additional participation. There is no need to encourage participation for boys lacrosse. We're just trying to give them an avenue for them to play. And the issue that we had a couple years ago, I guess it was 2 years ago now, we actually had a boys program within the club. And we scheduled games with JV programs. One was Mater Day, which was their first season. The problem was the NJSIAA, and I guess other people had issues with us playing those games. All we're trying to do is get these kids to play games, to practice. If it's pay for play, if it's community funded, however it needs to be. I understand there's constraints on the budget. Everybody's getting hit with budget cuts. Believe me, I hear it all the time. So it's not about necessarily the funding. We've gotten you a solution. We brought that solution to the table. We have kids that want to play, and we've got 200 kids in the youth organization that will be at Manalapan High School starting next year and going for the next, since they're kindergarten kids now, is my youngest age. So let's talk about it. Let's get it set up. But the sooner the better, because time is taken, and these kids that are freshmen and sophomores in high school don't have much more time. And I hear from the parents almost every day. So what are the next steps? How do we make this thing move?
The next steps is I'll have Mr. Boyce reach out, but that's the next step. And I want to be clear in public. We're not promising anything. We're gonna look at it, because that's the reality. And I've lived with pay for play before, and sometimes it works well in theory until you come down to it, and then it ends up. So I don't want to be up here giving anyone false hope, other than we were earnestly hoping to move forward with it until we went down the path of $25 million reduction, failed referendum, and now here we are. And we'll be making choices about our academic program, which comes first and foremost soon enough. So
totally understood. But funding should not be an issue if the parents are there and the kids are there and the support is there. It's not fair to these kids that you saw the email. One kid left Manalapan High School specifically because there was no lacrosse, and he was in the science and engineering class. So it's a shame. All right, so Sean, I look forward to talking to you.
I know Mr. Stein's extremely passionate about that. He's been here before, and everyone's gotten his emails. Does anybody on the board, have an opinion about this that they'd like to express? All right, then. That was new business and second round of public participation. The last item is the adjournment. Does anybody want to put forth a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, the meeting's adjourned.